Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Green Flag TV, where we are live from the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. As tonight we get set to honor one of our own that had the unfortunate news of passing away just earlier on Friday morning. And it's been a rough ride at the moment for the TNGG IL Truck Series, but in memory of Robert Jordan, they have decided to put together a little special memorial race for us here on this Saturday night. So that's where we find ourselves right now. My name is Ola Brempel alongside Austin Edstrom, and together we are going to be bringing you the Robert Jordan 200. Austin, it's a somber day, right? And it's not a day we ever like to find ourselves in, but I do think it's nice that we get to come on out and we get to honor one of our friends by, doing what we do best, and that's go racing.
Yeah, it does feel a little weird to kind of be here and not, be super enthusiastic or coming in with a ton of energy into the broadcast. But I do feel like this is a great way for the TNGG iRacing Esports League to honor a fallen member of their league, and I feel like this is the right thing to do, and it's probably what Robert Jordan would want the league to do as well. I think this is a great kind of send off to him from everybody in the league.
It's a great send-off indeed. Robert Jordan was one of the longest-standing members of the TNGGIL Truck Series. He has been here effectively from the get-go, and he had a very deep roots here in the community. So it is such a shame that it happens to come in such sudden news as well. But regardless, we are here. We are going to go racing, and we'll be racing for 77 laps, 200 miles around this 2.6-mile behemoth. And I think it'll be in for a good show, right? I mean, it may be somber circumstances that find us here today, but regardless, we're going to be able to get ourselves with some good racing, and I'm hoping we'll be putting on a good show.
Oh, yeah, I think we will for sure. I mean, I know we just ended off the TNGG iRacing series here just, last weekend on Saturday. We were thinking we were going to get a couple off weeks until we jump into the main season. But with the unfortunate news, the admins decided to put on this event here tonight to honor Robert Jordan. And I think we're going to get a good race. I think we're going to have a lot of these guys, gunning for it. Everybody wants to win every time that they strap into one of these things, one of these virtual trucks. So I think we're still going to get a good race, even with the unfortunate news that came across the Discord yesterday for the TNGG iRacing Esports Series. But yeah, I'm excited to see the race. I think we're going to get a great one here tonight. Talladega always puts on a good show, and the trucks put on a great show at the super speedways.
45 trucks getting set to roll out as we'll be looking to try to get things sorted here. We've got about 2 minutes left here on the clock in qualifying. Now, it was a full grid. You had over 60 trucks, but I believe they have limited it to the fastest 45, possibly the fastest 43, making their way into competition here tonight. So, at the moment, Dan Witt sits on top of the pole. Jim Duda going to be in second. Thomas Lane Jr. and Paul Witt sit on row number 2. And, of course, that'll be we'll get into all of this and more. But right now, we've got just over a minute left in qualifying. Talladega, right? It's always an interesting venue when we go racing here. And I know you weren't here for the Super Speedway Blitz race that we had about a month and a half ago when they were racing here in Alabama. But it was spectacular. However, engine detonations had been the story of the day all race long. And we had 2 different major stack-ups and ended up in cautions with trucks blowing up because they pushed too hard and ended up overheating the water.
Yeah, with this being a kind of exhibition style of race, we've got the extra fast repair, though. So even if we do have those kind of incidents, I do think that everybody having the fast repairs, everybody's going to be able to get back on the racetrack and make this a good show all the way to the finish. But you still got to take care of it, and you got to save those fast repairs to the end. So it's definitely very, very important for these guys to make sure that they do that. Don't overheat that engine. I was noticing in the season finale last week at Daytona, there was a lot of guys that just had to completely duck out of line to be able to get their entire grill clean and clear in the clean air. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that tonight. And at Talladega, man, you can push a lot easier. So I feel like it's easier to overheat the engine. So we'll just kind of have to keep an eye on that. But every time we come to Talladega, I'm excited, man. This is my home track. I absolutely love coming here in real life and watching stuff on the sim. So excited to get this one started.
Well, we're looking to get things started this time by as the as we are officially going to get things underway. And, well, before we get to our usual pre-race proceedings, we, of course, got your starting grid to go through. We'll kick it off with Dan Witt on the pole with a 55.879. Jim Duda sits only fourth, Thou off on the front row. Thomas Lane Jr. is third with Paul Witt in fourth. Jeremy Osborne is in fifth with Jamie Walker in sixth. Larry Eddy is in seventh. Mike Bagwell is eighth. Miguel De La Cruz will be in ninth. Ryan McRoberts rounds out the top 10, Austin.
11th will be Kenneth Redinger. 12th, George Rincon. 13th, James Wortsema. 14th, Kyle Howard. 15th, Raymond Hanneman. 16th is Matthew Dunphy. 17th, John Bawalda. Scott Vaughn rounds out row number 9. Starting in 19th will be Brad Slagle, and rounding out your top 20 will be Aaron Raymond.
Mike Allen brings it home in 21st with Cole Snyder in 22nd. Zane Bailey is 23rd. Logan Amos is in 24th. Mike Campbell 25th. Chase McGuire 26th. Chris Gilbert in 27th. Justin Parham in 28th. Robert Amaral is in 29th. And Brett Rucker rounds out the top 30.
31st will be Rick Schneider with Simon Woodson starting right beside him in 32nd. Ambrose Nibble will be 33rd with Jesse Cunningham in 34th. Dale Rapp and Andre Hedstra round out 35th and 36th. Michael McElroy will start in 37th with Trace Gaskins in 38th. Scott Howell in 39th with Bob Cunningham in 40th. Dave
Olivieri will be in 41st with Dustin Haynes down in 42nd. Chauncey Hendry will be in 43rd. Noah Swafford, as I've been corrected, will be in 44th. Matthew Rui was the final driver to put down the qualifying lap. Will start 45th. And not making the grid tonight will be Thomas Gould, Pete Polini, Matt Swope, Dylan Butler, Eric Beller, Brady Rode, Rick McKinney, Michael Pegg, Jordan Lafone, and continuing on down to the field, Rex Rowe, Chris Kynes, Bruno Latour, Bill Porter, and Monty James will round out the 59 trucks that register for this race. But as we mentioned, only the top 45 can make it into action here tonight. Now, we are going to be having a 3-wide salute here before we go to green flag racing, so we're going to be extending this start by a few laps as we'll be looking to line these guys up and then take that lap in silence the second time we come around. But Dan Witt in that number 99 truck going to be leading us out from the pole.
Yeah, really tight between the top couple here at the front of the field. Only Dan Witt only getting the pole over Jim Duda by 0.05 of a second. And Thomas Lane Jr. not too far behind, only 0.02 of a second behind in that P3 position. And everybody within the top 17, all qualified within 0.1 of a second of the leader. Pretty standard at this super speedways. You know, you typically see a couple guys that just really, really know what they're doing and can somehow put, I don't know, a lap time that's 0.5 tenth better than everybody else, but then it kind of just straggles down and really everybody kind of convenes on the same time, about 0.1 or 2 right behind the race leader, and that's what we saw tonight with a huge 45-car field. Really excited to get this one kicked off as we see the 3-wide salute starting to kind of take shape coming out of turn number 2 as we extend the caution period. That lap of silence will be next time around.
Paul Witt taking it up to the front of the field. Of course, Paul Witt was particularly close to the Jordan family, and you can see a whole host of the IEL team running up there in the front, waving the lead colors and waving Jordan's colors as well, right at the front of things. We're going to work into turn numbers 3 and 4. It's a quiet day at the moment, and you can kind of tell, right? I mean, even the trucks sound like they're a little bit tuned down for racing action here this afternoon, but I'm sure they'll be rumbling to life when we get set to go racing in just a couple laps time. But for now, Paul Witt will lead the way, and I guess you could call it, usually they call it the Dixie double file. I guess we could call this the Dixie triple file salute, though, as we'll work our way out of turn number 4. As the last of these drivers are going to get themselves all lined up, 3 wide all the way, spaced out throughout this field, as we'll start our lap of silence. close out our lap of silence. The field will start to get itself back double filed out, and we will try to go back green flag racing. Well, not back green flag racing. We'll try to get to green flag racing within the next 2 laps or so here. Possibly this lap. We'll see how quick these guys get themselves back in line. But tell you what, it's going to be a heck of a show for a send-off.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to get a great show here tonight with 45 trucks. I mean, that's a lot for Talladega, man. Holy cow. I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen more than 40 at this place. Personally, it typically gets hairy in NIS with just up to, 36, 38, whatever the heck it is. I can't imagine 45 trucks out here all night long with 2 fast repairs, by the way. So it's gonna get a little hairy.
It's going to get hairy indeed as the lights remain on, so I do not believe we're going to go green flag racing this time by. They're still trying to get themselves sorted more towards the tail end of the field. The more trucks you get, the longer it takes to get yourself sorted after something like this. Is everyone all the way back to 42nd. Going to be looking to make starts with us here in this one. 45 trucks did put down times, but looking like we will only have, at the end of the day, 42 taking the green flag here. Tonight, Jim Duda up to the top side of the racetrack. Dan Witt has taken up his position for the inside pole down on the bottom. So looking like next time by, we will go to green flag racing from the Talladega Superspeedway. Fuel window, I think my understanding is this is being run with the same settings that a usual league race would, so roughly 17 laps. Of course, with the salute, that's going to throw off the numbers a bit. We might be down to only 15 or 16 laps just for this opening stint because of the extra time we've taken behind the pace truck. Laps are not being scored right now, remember.
Yeah, so we could see a lot of strategy in this thing, especially with 42 trucks. I mean, that's for it to be safe coming down pit road with 42 of them. All in the same pack. They might have to split that up into about fourths because I would be so nervous coming down pit road with 20 plus, even at Talladega where the pit entry is so wide. You got so much time to slow down. It really doesn't matter whenever you got 40 other guys out there trying to get slowed down at the exact same time. It'll be a tough one, but hey, we're about to figure it out, see if these guys can do it. Only 15 laps away from the potential green flag pit stops. Hopefully we can get them, but again, 42 drivers, we might not see the green flag pit stops here tonight.
Well, we didn't see them. Wow, actually, that's a lie. We did see them in the Super Speedway Blitz, but only once. And granted that was a 90-lap race. It's not that long. To only see them once over what should have been really about a 4 or a 5-stop race. But now, we're going to work our way up and around and into turn numbers 1 and 2. And lights have gone out. I'm not seeing any major changes or shakeups. So we should be ready to go green flag this time by.
Yeah, I do believe this is going to be the one. We're going to be having that pace truck pull off coming out of turn number 4. And we're going to get this thing going green. We're going to be able to celebrate our fallen driver here tonight. We're going to... I feel so bad about the circumstance, but Robert Jordan, the Robert Jordan 200, can't wait to see who's going to come through and win this thing for him tonight in 77 lap time.
77 laps. It's a very long distance, plenty of time to get all the action that Robert would love to see in one of these races in. I'm sure we're going to have thrills. I'm sure we're going to have spills. And I'm sure we are going to have one grandstand finish here tonight as the 99 truck will work its way in towards turn numbers 3 and 4. Jim Duda working to the top side. It's been a long couple of days, but we'll get sent to hopefully at least go out on a high here as the pace truck will make that dive down into pit road this time by. But remember, it's a long way around to that Geico restart zone situated right in the tri-oval. We'll let you listen in as 42 trucks from the somber silence get set to thunder to life. As Dan Witt takes us into the restart zone. Green flag's out. Let's go racing for Robert Jordan. Jim Duda has pulled clear with the race lead. He will be leading the way as it'll be the 053 pushed by Paul Witt to lead lap number 1.
Yeah, Jim Duda able to take that race lead on the outside, right on the jump. Had a really good restart on the outside of our pole sitter of Dan Witt. Unfortunately, Dan could not quite hold on. He's fallen back to about the 5th place position. But Jim Duda leading the way, coming out of turn number 2 on lap 2. Great start there from the outside line. And we've kind of got it single filed at this point. Just a couple trucks on the outside line trying to make it work. Everybody kind of content right now just to kind of ride the bottom.
A lot of trucks riding the bottom. They're looking to be playing it safe here this time around, as it's a long way to go until the end of this race, right? Those 77 laps, they are not going to be going away in a hurry. So you got to always be careful. You got to be patient. Right now, bottom lane is the place to be. Although we say that, the 34 trying to make moves to the top side. Ryan McRoberts pushed by Kenneth Redinger, trying to make a move right to the point on a 2-truck crusade.
Yeah, look at Ryan McRoberts on the outside, able to get all the way up to side by side with the 2nd place driver. That's Paul Witt on the inside. Sorry, we got 2 different Witts in the top 5 or top 8 area. I was a little confused which one I was looking at, but McRoberts now to the outside of the race leader with a huge push from the 30 of Redinger. Great job on that outside line, figuring it out. Now we've got about 4 trucks on the outside. We've got more even further back, trying to gain a little bit of draft from that red 99 on the outside. We could have a full outside groove here pretty soon.
And that's Dan Witt in the 99, the pole sitter, bringing up the rear of this outside line. Thomas Lane Jr., the 3rd truck, in line. And look a bit further back, you got more closing in. How about the 6 of Aaron Raymond closing in? Raymond Hanneman going with him. And then the 052 of Brad Slagle charging it up. And that outside lane is opening up in a hurry as we dive it back down and into turn number 1. Jim Duda still holds the race lead. The outside line has been established. Now it just needs to get some momentum going.
Yeah, that outside line, like you mentioned, it's gotten established. They've got the numbers up there now. Oh, Jamie Walker pulling out to the bottom of the racetrack. He's just pulling out, doesn't want to get involved in anything too early. Dropping back to the back of the pack out of the draft. But, man, that outside line's starting to pick up a little bit of steam. Oh, Jim Duda's getting cut off right in front in turn 3. He almost sent Ryan McRoberts around. Late move from the driver of the 34. He's able to hang on it, onto it, going into turn 3, and able to take the lead away from Jim Duda, but he's not settling for P2. Jim Duda back to the outside.
Well, why would he settle for that, right? Because he's got to make sure that he can maintain that race lead for as much as possible. Duda back to the top, drag race to the line, and I think Duda just barely winning that one out at the stripe. McRoberts has picked up the number 2 spot down low, though he is trying to go for that lead. Now, oftentimes the outside line tends to be a great place to go in the next-gen stock cars around here, right? You can get so much momentum. These trucks, not so much. I've found that oftentimes there doesn't tend to be one lane that's more dominant than the other. You get a lot of, in fact, kind of stalling out that you see in races like this. The Xfinity Series is always a unique, oh boy, McRoberts almost getting turned there by Paul Witt. But the Xfinity Series of B-Class cars are very unique, right? Because they're kind of like the next-gen stock cars, even more so. They're like the next-gen stock cars in the sense that they can make those really big slingshots to get to the point quickly, but they can also run side-by-side and 3 wide a lot more effectively than the next-gen stock cars are. These trucks, though, you tend to be caught in this 2-line parade like this.
Yeah, what I'm seeing right now with the trucks looks a lot like what you would see in real life with the Cup car. I mean, goodness gracious. The Cup car and the Xfinity car are majorly fun in iRacing to run. You get the big runs like you mentioned. But, man, the trucks, you really get stalled out side by side, and you get these big 2 long rows of cars, and it looks just like a real-life race at Talladega right now with the Gen 7 car. So we've now got another lead change, though. Jim Duda, not really a lead change, jumping down to the inside, pulling back in front of McRoberts. Duda's led the way the entire way, even though the last couple laps have been just by a couple inches. This time it looks like Redinger, though, on the outside might be able to lead this lap as he's got a huge push coming from behind.
Got that big push coming from behind as Kenneth Redinger trying to make a lunge around the top side, and that number 30 truck going to now drive to the point. He's going to chop down across the nose of Jim Duda, and Thomas Lane Jr. now sticking it up on that top side in his number 38 Toyota Tundra, trying to make some lunges around the high side as, again, this 2-line parade, it's going to continue all the way down until we get to our first run of pit stops. I mean, look at this all the way back through this field. You're hard-pressed to find anybody running single file right now.
Do they still have the three wide rule in effect for this race?
I'm assuming so. I haven't gotten any kind of word on that, but that is my assumption. Otherwise, I think we would have gone 3 wide a while ago.
Yeah, I think somebody would have at least tried it by now. I think we're waiting on a certain lap here, probably around lap 17. You're talking about the pit window. I believe it's typically around the pit window. But Jim Duda back to the outside, back in front of Thomas Lane Jr. out there on the outside groove, able to take the lead back. He was only out of the lead for 1 lap. Now him and Lane both pulling down to the bottom groove, taking that lead away from McRoberts on the bottom.
Trying to take that lead away from the bottom side, but right now Jim Duda leading the train. McRoberts caught on the bottom as Dan Witt makes that charge on the top side. Nowhere for the 34 truck to go. Here comes that outside again with the momentum. Down to turn numbers 3 and 4. As the 99 crew going to work his way up to that outside line, and holy cow, Jim Duda looking like he's making some great progress down to the bottom. But I'm telling you what, right now, this is looking like it's going to be a very, very solid race from the entirety of the pack. Yeah,
really tight racing all throughout from the front to the back. I don't think that we really have too many people off the pace at this point. We've only got one person that is completely out of the pack, 37 seconds behind. That's James Wartsma. Everybody else still solidly within the draft. Maybe we've got 1 or 2 stragglers towards the back that might have lost it, but everybody else up in the front. All 38 cars in the main pack, all within 3 seconds of each other. Tight racing as we've got the 99 of Dan Witt. He had the race lead for just a moment, but that bottom lane surges as they enter turn 3.
Jim Duda again leading that charge from the bottom. That outside lane started to snake out a little bit more. Thought maybe they were trying to experiment with the line a bit further up the racetrack, maybe trying to get some more of that momentum off of the banking transitions from banking to flat. That would work most effectively, though, when you're coming off of turn numbers 1 and 2, as Dan Witt, in fact, has cleared for the lead, gets in front of Duda. Now leave Raymond Hanneman to lead the top shelf.
Yeah, Dan Witt jumping back down in front. It seems like every time somebody in the outside line gets clear of the inside line, they just take the inside groove away and are just kind of content with, I don't know. I feel like I'm just staying in the outside groove, to be honest, especially while we are not allowed to have the 3 wide racing. But the 85, now Hanneman taking the lead. This has got a big push here from Brad Slagle in the 0.52. Slagle was hard done last week in the championship race. He needed a lot to happen right for him to be able to win that championship. Unfortunately, nothing happened right for the driver of the 0.52, but here tonight, running right behind our new race leader of Raymond Hanneman. Can they get to the line and keep that lead, though? It doesn't really seem like it is Witt. Now fight back on the inside of that 99. It's going to be tight to the line.
Hanneman trying to make some leaps and bounds to get clear, but can't get it done. Brad Slagle, his Average Joe Motorsports 052 Toyota Tundra, trying to give him a bit of a helping hand to push him clear of that bright red 99 as we thunder down the back straightaway. The 85 truck looking strong for now, but that can all change with just the smallest little bump. We have seen it time after time after time again. It takes only one incident, and it's going to cause just absolute havoc. James Wartsma is down and into pit road, and looking like he is taking that truck behind the wall.
Yeah, Wartsma was well off the pace in terms of the draft. Couldn't really do anything at that point after losing the draft, and it looks like he's just decided to call it quits. But still, credit to Wartsma for coming out here tonight, just at least showing his face in terms of what's happened. It's very important to be here tonight as a regular in the league. But now Raymond Hanneman on the outside, still trying to take away that lead from Dan Witt. Just seems like these two lines are just so evenly matched. The outside line, obviously, just a little bit better. For most of the races, we typically see the outside line clear and then pull down, but it's even enough to where we don't see that happen every single lap. It seems to be about every 3 or 4 laps that outside line is finally able to get a big enough push to clear 1 or 2 trucks, and then they have to kind of restart all over again after they kind of get bailed out by the front 2 drivers. But I do think that we're going to start seeing some heavier racing towards the middle of the pack. Oh, and as soon as I say that, 1 driver goes around, 2 drivers go around on the apron at the back of the pack. I think that they were both able to keep it out of the inside wall. A great piece of driving between the 2 guys. Couldn't quite tell who it was as we look back at the 24 sideways. That's going to be Cole Snyder, and there was one other truck involved.
Cole Schneider was involved, and I believe he was the only one that came to a full stop. James Wurtzman, by the way, back onto the racetrack, so possibly an engine blown. Not sure what the deal was with him, but we'll get a look back and we'll find out what really happened here to that machine as he was working his way down and out of turn numbers 3 and 4. Remember, Schneider was, well, he's going to be running 41st now, as we'll get a look here in just a moment. And this will be the story of what happened to the 24 truck working through turns 3 and 4. Only a 2-truck spin, though, as you mentioned, so overall could have been worse to kick off racing action.
Yeah, the 24 getting stacked up. Yeah, there's a little bit of issue in front, and as the 28 went up the racetrack, 24 just kind of chased him up. Kind of unfortunate issue or incident. Really not much in it. Just a little bit of contact in the left rears. The 28 drifted up the racetrack. Great job though from the 28. I'm gonna have to get a look to see who the heck's driving that thing. George Rincon. Great job by him whipping that thing back around to the right. That's a tough thing to do whenever you're coming off that corner 180, 190 miles an hour. So great job from the driver of the 28.
No kidding. Let's take a ride on board with Rincon here. He now runs in 39. And this will be that big slide coming out of turn number 4.
Oh my goodness, he's got that thing wrapped around 180 degrees to the right, if not a little bit more. Gasses that thing up, rips it right back around. We see most of our drivers coming down pit road. I think we only had about 5 laps left on in the gas tank. So everybody coming down, getting that thing chock full of fuel.
Yeah, I mean, that tracks for me. Not a lot of drivers taking tires. This really does look like it's a fuel game. Dan Witt first in. They will not be first out. Raymond Hanneman just besting the 99 truck out of pit road, as here goes the rest of the field, slowly siphoning their way out of the lane just behind. But yeah, 13 laps in, I think that tracks that we were still on these 17-lap fuel runs here that we saw the last time that we were down at the Talladega Superspeedway. So Dan Witt will lead the way, working lap 14 of 77, and still a long way to go.
Yeah, we're about, 20% of the way through the race after we complete this lap right here. Not 20%, it'll be a little bit less than 20. But still, like you mentioned, a little ways to go, but that just means we got plenty of hard racing to go here at the Superspeedway at Talladega. Super exciting racing every time we come here, and I know that we've had the 2-wide kind of gridlock at this point, but I do believe that 3-wide rule is about to be lifted off of the field. So I think we're going to get some even crazier moves, crazier racing here going forward.
So, running down through the top 10, Dan Witt, Raymond Hanneman, Jim Duda, Brad Slagle, Zane Bailey, Thomas Lane Jr. Got the 30 truck of Kenneth Renninger in there as well. Aaron Raymond, Mike Allen, and Ryan McRoberts close out the top quarter of this field. Still have all 42 trucks that started this race on the racetrack. James Wurtzma sits 2 laps down. Are you able to get a look on what happened to Wurtzma and find out why he came down to pit road so suddenly there?
I can do a little bit of investigative journalism if you would like me to. I'm gonna go back real quick.
It would have been about. I'm showing he came to pit road on his lap 9, so I'm thinking that'd be a good indicator.
And he was in the pit box for a long time. Long time.
Oh yeah, which that tracks for me because it also says he took a tow once he entered pit road.
Yeah. I'm scrolling back, and he's just running by himself for a very long time. I'm not seeing anything. I don't I have no idea. I'm at his lap 5, and his truck is completely clean. There's no problem on the 4. On lap 4 now, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I really don't know. I think he just started from the pits and was way off back from everybody, and then ended up coming down pit road. Maybe he was debating quitting, or actually on the initial lap. Finally, I found what has happened to James Wurtzma.
Hey.
Before we get to the start-finish line, he gets popped in the back by Hanneman into 85. Puts a little bit of damage on the left rear quarter panel, but nothing that you would write home about. Nothing bad. And then he just gets on the apron in the middle of the corner and lets everybody by. So I don't know. It looked like he just didn't feel like really racing too hard tonight. Not 100% certain.
May have tried to bring that truck down and get the damage repaired as early as he possibly could before he took it back out to the racetrack.
Perhaps. It was very minor damage. Very, very minor.
So Dan Witt will be leading the way back around to the restart zone. We are lights out, 1 degree. We'll go with lap 16, I believe. Well, lap 17, that's when theoretically I think we should be able to go 3 wide if they have that rule in place. We'll find out. If they go 3 wide at lap 17, that'll be a very good indicator that that rule was indeed in play.
Yeah, I think we're gonna find out relatively soon here. I did think I remember, or I heard a couple people kind of chirping about it before that caution came out, or talking about it. So, but hey, we're about to get that green flag coming after the end of the first caution here. Dan Witt leading the way.
Crossing over the start-finish stretch, Raymond Hanneman getting a great shove from Brad Slagle up on the top side of the track as he'll make that dive back down and into turn 1. Dan Witt has managed to get himself some momentum down on the bottom. Hanneman second, Duda and Slagle third and fourth. How about Zane Bailey running in third down to the inside line, 5th place overall. Zane Bailey, he's a driver that DJ and I were kind of eyeing throughout the Super Speedway Blitz, right? Entered that last season as a rookie, has really, really impressed so far. Has yet to get a race win, but has finished on the podium and has proven time after time again he's got the pace to get to the top step.
Yeah, side by side for the race lead right now, Hanneman and Dan Witt. Man, just tight racing all throughout the field. Again, still too wide right now, but I'd be willing to bet we're going to be seeing some harder racing coming up relatively soon, as we've got Brad Slagle all over the back bumper of the 85, trying to make that outside line the fastest groove around the racetrack. A little bit longer radius that they got to go around these corners, but man, do they get that run down the front straightaway, down the back straightaway, especially whenever that driver tucked up behind the leader.
Packed up line astern, Raymond Hanneman, Dan Witt running 1-2 down on the bottom. And Jim Duda, Brad Slagle, the 053 and the 052 in play. Brad Slagle, I found it funny, right, because Duda's numbers do look quite similar to Slagle's, right? I mean, they have an 053 and an 052, and they have the same number. Well, they have the same color just about. So Brad, I remember he loaded up for the session. The first thing I heard when I was in that little Discord channel with him, why the heck is this guy driving my numbers?
Unfortunately, I cut out, and I only heard about half of what you just said because
well.
my battery was not feeling good in my headset, so I had to plug it in. So that was great timing here. But now Hanneman diving down to the inside, taking that lead away from Dan Witt. But now that's going to leave that outside open to the 052 of Brad Slagle. He's got a huge push coming from Thomas Lane Jr. here on the outside. We're looking at the 47 going a lap down on the inside.
Larry Eddy fresh out of pit road. In fact, he is going a 3rd lap down on the bottom side of the racetrack. Was in pit road for an extended period of time, much like how Wurtzmo was, albeit got out 1 lap sooner. Blends into traffic, no problems. We'll look back up front to the leaders.
Yeah, leaders still side by side. Finally, we're looking at a little bit of 3 wide back there. Jamie Walker trying to make it work on the outside, but you're never going to have that working by yourself. He's going to have a little bit of help. Man, that outside duo of Brad Slagle and Thomas Lane Jr. just shoving each other to the front of the field, ducking down to the bottom lane as they cross the stripe. Brad Slagle move him up to the race lead and move Raymond in that 6-car. Aaron Raymond, he was stupid quick last week in the season finale here for the Super Speedway Blitz. Look at him on the outside now, side by side for that 3rd place position. He's going to be challenging for the race lead by the end of the back.
Brad Slagle moves to the point. How about the 6th? The defending Truck Series champion, Aaron Raymond, takes the Bass Pro Shops Chevy Silverado, trying to track through to pick up the race lead, but has to get some help here from McRoberts and Paul Witt, but they can't get linked up. Here we go, our first bit of 3 wide action of the afternoon. The 49 of Michael Elroy making a look to the top side.
Yeah, I feel like that was maybe just a little bit too early. He didn't really have much help, but now finally a couple of other trucks ducking out of line. The 429 looking up to the outside, trying to get in front of McElroy there, going down into turn number 1, and they're still going to be 3 wide for about the 5th place position. We've got 2 little 2-car breakaways, and then it's 3 wide, 2 rows deep for 5th.
side by side, fanning out across the entirety of the Talladega Superspeedway. This is the type of race that we were hoping to see tonight, as Brad Slake with a big charge down to the bottom, punched by Thomas Lane Jr. 3 wide for the lead. Raymond Hanneman bobbles in the middle line as the 85 nearly gets hooked off the bumper of Aaron Raymond.
Oh, that was a scary moment in the middle of 3 and 4 from the driver, the 85, but now Paul Witt in the 429 started this lap in 7th place, looking for the race lead, coming back to the stripe. They're 3 wide, 2 rows deep for the race lead right now. Raymond Hanneman, though, he's going to keep it at the stripe. As man, the 6 car of Aaron Raymond is sideways down into turn number 1. We're still battling hard for that race lead.
The scrapping continues. Slagle on the bottom, Hanneman in the middle, Paul Witt up on top. As the two pushers, they are really giving it everything they got. But remember, you gotta watch that water temperature. You gotta always have one eye on that right tachometer because it will bite you in a hurry. Occupanti found that out the hard way when he raced in the TNGG Truck Series and blew up after only 3 laps of pushing flush to the bumper like this.
Oh my goodness, I just feel like we're about to have a wreck up towards the top 4 or 5. Finally, Hanneman ducks down to the inside. I felt like it was going to come from Hanneman getting spun off the bumper of the 6, but he ducks down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's just going to hug that double yellow line and take the bottom way around. Probably a smart move from the 85, as long as he can just hold it down there. Doesn't slide back up in front of the 6. But man, Brad Slagle and Aaron Raymond side by side for that P2 position. And don't count out Paul Witt yet in the 429. They've got a head of steam on the outside line coming out of turn 2.
Making that drive, and take a look at this, as this is absolute pandemonium on the backstretch as they make that drive way deep into turn numbers 3 and 4, 3 wide all the way throughout the pack. Finally, Hanneman and Slagle break clear. Now, if they can actually pull clear and everybody else stays 3 wide behind them, this could very easily be a 2 or even a 3 truck breakaway for the lead. But I think the 6 truck has just lost all help from the middle. He's now caught in the sucker hole.
Yeah, that middle lane is kind of dispersed, and a couple drivers went to the top, a couple drivers went to the bottom. But now, the 429, Paul Witt drags another driver, I believe it was Michael McElroy behind him, down into that bottom lane, and kind of makes the the middle lane a little bit better than that outside line. Everybody kind of ducked out of the middle, but now they're back in it as Brad Slagle ducks out right in front of the 429, able to take a huge shove from Paul Witt. Now move Brad Slagle back up to the race lead. Paul Witt still following through into P2. Both drivers going to go down to the bottom of the racetrack. Oh, a little bit of hip check there for 3rd place. Going down into turn 3. Everybody's going to keep it straight for now.
They keep it straight, but again, like you said, for now. And we're not even close to halfway through this 200-mile race. This is absolute chaos, and it is just the way we like it. Brad Slagle leading the way. Paul Witt down in 2nd as we'll look back to all the 3 wide action in the mid-pack.
Yeah, as it's kind of single-filed out through about the, first 5, 6 positions here on the bottom of the racetrack. It's still a hornet's nest from everywhere on back. Trying to cycle out of that 3 wide, I guess from about, 10th on back? I mean, it's just hard racing all throughout the field, but that's what you expect. We got 40 drivers in here tonight, all gunning for the race win. Tight racing all throughout, but finally, those first 5 cars on the inside line have a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of time to just kind of catch their breath, save a little bit of gas. And I got to say, we're probably coming up on green flag.
Look out!
As soon as I say that, the caution's going to come out. Multiple drivers involved in the outside wall. The 44, 52. Oh, more drivers piling in late into the wreck on the bottom of the racetrack. We're going to have our 2nd caution of the evening.
And that is the big one come turn 3. That is not ideal, to put it mildly. As we'll look back and find out what went down, but boy, that took out a huge host of trucks early on, and Rick Schneider, among with more, are all going to be down and into pit road. Well, it falls apart, and let's be honest, that was inevitable the way that was going down.
I'm surprised that we lasted that long, to be honest with you. I'm pretty impressed. That was a really, really good run from these guys, especially running 3 wide that hard, as long as we did. Pretty impressive from everybody to be able to keep that thing straight and, give us some really good racing. I can't wait for the rest of this thing. This is turning out to be a really good show so far.
Well, it always is. The TNGG Truck Series has always been a fantastic show, and I know you're going to be taking part in, hopefully a good chunk of the season coming on up here on Saturday nights when we get into the spring and into the summer. And I'll tell you right now, You're not going to regret that decision, Austin, because out of the entirety of the 28 race season last time around, I can only really think of 3 out of those 28 races that weren't complete entertainment from start to finish.
That's a ridiculous statistic, to be honest with you. That's a you're batting. I mean, that's a percentage right there. I mean, you can't ask for much better than that. So I'm excited for next season. I'm well, I don't know for sure. Well, you said 25 out of 28, right? So let me do the math just to make sure.
I'm going to laugh at you if it's not 8%. I want you to know that now that you put that number out there.
Wait, well, I didn't put out. I said that's like an A percentage.
Oh, I thought you said 8%.
No, well, no, it's a B plus. It's 89%. Bangers. 89% bangers. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take A minus, give or take.
A minus. I don't know what kind of grading scale they use in Canada, but that's a B plus, buddy.
Well, you got C plus, C minus. You don't have that down in the States?
That's what we have, but an 89 is a B plus, not an A minus.
Well, what's an A minus?
90 to 93.3.
You can have decibels in your grading system?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, buddy.
That sounds horrible. I'm glad I didn't go to secondary education.
Well, how are you supposed to average together like I don't know. If you have 5
Math
and
is math.
8. If you got 5 and 8, average of that is 6.5, which is a decimal, right? That's all the grade is your average of your grades. Okay,
hey, I didn't come here to go to school.
Okay, this is too much. Yeah, I'm sorry. We should go to commercial.
we came here to. Well, we're not doing that. We're gonna take a look at the replay of the incident coming on up here. It was Rick Schneider, the one of the main drivers that kind of really kicked this thing off as this all happened. Coming down the backstretch into turn numbers 1 and 2. There's some pretty big separation. The field's starting to go along as that third lane opened up, and it's going to fall apart. I'm willing to bet just a bad bump. Oh, yeah, Rapp came down. A little hip check. Sent the 03 into Zane Bailey, and then, well, Rapp got a hit from behind from the 50, hard into the outside wall, and it is just on from there.
Luckily, we've got those 2 fast repairs, though, so we're not going to lose too much of the field right here. Maybe a couple guys might have blown an engine, and they'll have to take a tow, maybe lose a lap, but I think that we're going to be good to go, even with that little bit of mishap on that accident. I think most people are going to be A-okay, even that we're involved, able to come down, get that fast repair taken, maybe put on 4 fresh tires if you slid the tires a little bit too much as we get another replay. Kind of looking at Jamie Walker here in that 88 truck, the green Mountain Dew. Now looking a little bit further ahead. Yeah, you can just see that a little bit of contact. The hip check going down into the corner. Could not save it. Unfortunate contact for all these guys. My goodness.
Dale Rapp got put up on 2 wheels, almost went up and over. The 44 got shoved in there, and then look at, oh man, Rincon caught some air at the tail end of this whole field near the back. And whoa, boy, the 27 just escaping disaster.
A lot of close calls, but hey, you get that every time you get to a super speedway, right? We were talking about on a Wednesday, or earlier this week on Monday, we were talking about how Michigan was just North Talladega, North Daytona. We were talking about just all the accidents we can have, and there's just nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go whenever we have these. I'm sorry.
I'm never letting you live that conversation down. I am never letting you live that down.
I'm the one that brings it up, man. I'm the one that brings it up, and I will continue to bring it up for my entire life. I mean, I love it so much. Heck, I'm going to be going to Talladega in April, and I'm going to be telling everybody about North Daytona. You're going to hate me by the end of this.
Paul Witt will be with the race lead. No comment on that one. Brett Slick will be in second. Raymond Hanneman there. Raymond bringing it home on row number 2. And then, of course, Jim Duda and the 49 of Michael Elroy will be on row number 3. Tell you what, the racing's been great so far. We got, 50 laps to go when we take that green flag again? There's a lot more action like that left in us.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait for them to get 3 wide once again. And, first, just call it crazy racing. I mean, it's been really, really great here so far this evening, and from what I've heard, it's pretty common here in the TNGG Truck Series. So looking forward to getting this one back to green. Going to come to take lap number 28, like you mentioned, 50 laps to go. We're only about a third of the way through this thing.
Pace truck is off. Paul Witt leads the way into the restart zone. Green flags in the air, 50 laps to go.
Really close restart between the inside and outside row. Actually, the outside of Brad Slagle able to get a little bit better jump than the 429. He's going to be able to duck down in front of him. That's going to allow the outside driver of Aaron Raymond to take the lead of the outside groove, but Brad Slagle has been really, really good up here towards the front all day long. It'll be tough to take that lead back from him, and that outside line's coming off of turn number 2. Big push here from Michael McElroy in the outside lane, and that 49 car to the back bumper of the 6 of Aaron Raymond. They're going to be side by side all the way down the back and into turn 3 for the race lead.
Now, how long will it be before we see all that 3-wide action kick off again, right? Because that's what... Hey, well, there we go. Slagle nearly got it hooked to the bottom. Raymond about to be turned by the 49. He's just going to get himself back in shape. Boy, the 052, though, just had a big scare. Paul Witt cut him a huge break by letting them back in line.
Yeah, everybody kind of slowing up there after we saw the 052 get a little loose in front of the field. Bad bump from the 429 behind him. Able to hang on to it, though. Tough thing to do here. Anytime you're going 180, 190 miles to the center of the corner, and all of a sudden you're pointing towards the infield, you're lucky to get back on the racetrack without hitting the wall. So great job there from Brad Slagle, able to hold on to the race car and hang on to the race lead. Still leading the way coming off of turn number 2. The outside line, once again, though, getting a really good run down the back straightaway. Aaron Raymond, Michael McElroy, Chauncey Henry Jr. all pushing really well there on the outside groove.
Raymond now looking to try to pinch that inside lane down. Might be trying to side draft Slagle back, but that outside lane getting a bit of steam. There's been some big separation as a result of, I think, some of that carnage that we just saw in the early going. You see towards the back end, Jesse Cunningham has lost the draft just a bit further back. So Cunningham, in fact, Jesse and Bob Cunningham, 2 different Cunninghams, possibly related, who knows at this point. Brett Rucker, Scott Vaughn, they're all in a little pack of their own that is fading fast from the leading group.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of an issue on the restart about 30th place on back. And we saw a couple guys kind of lose the draft. Yeah, 30th place, Jesse Cunningham, Bob Cunningham, and 31st, Brett Rucker, all stuck about a second behind our main pack. Tough break for some of those guys losing the draft here in the early going, but with everybody else side by side up in the main pack, maybe if those guys get single filed out and we get a little bit of checkups in the main pack, maybe, just maybe, they can find their way back in, as I do see them in the background getting single files. So this could be their opportunity. If they can just kind of get single filed, latch onto the back of the main pack, maybe they can, get that draft back and get back into this thing. But if they cannot, they're just going to need that caution flag to fly at some point. But still up front, Brad Slagle side by side with Aaron Raymond at the stripe. Slagle leads that lap, but Raymond leads going down to the turn 1. Oh! Yeah, that was bound to happen. I'm not too surprised we saw that one through 3 and 4. Did kind of feel like it came out of nowhere, though. I don't think we were pushing too hard. We weren't racing super hard. I just think there was a little bit of a hit check through the center of the corner. Couldn't quite tell where it was from. Maybe about side by side for 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere around there. I just feel like it all kind of kicked off in the middle of 3 and 4. My goodness, heavy accident there through turn 4. Whenever you see everybody just kind of piled up against the fence, especially in a race like this here tonight with the 2 fast repairs, you're really just hoping, please, nobody absolutely destroy me and knock my engine out of this thing. And that's really all you're kind of hoping for at that point. You kind of know you've got all the damage. You're really just hoping and praying that you're not going to get any major contact. Ended up being a pretty good job from the 429 of Paul Witt, hanging on to that thing I know he ends up spinning in there. Well, you know what? Yeah, I thought he was done wrecking. Hey, he spun it. You know what? It is what it is. He didn't. Yeah, I don't. He's gonna have to use a fast repair, just like everybody else. So you know what? Take away my credit to him because he had to use the fast repair. But I mean, he got right reared out of absolutely nowhere, and my goodness, somebody just absolutely destroyed pit wall. I don't know what just happened, but I just heard a huge smash in my ear. Yeah. Yeah, I really didn't think it was going to wreck after that. I thought, oh my gosh, they're still wrecking out of pit road. Somebody's backwards. He got right reared coming out of pit road. I can't quite tell who that is. Was that McElroy in the 49? I can't tell for sure. Nope. I don't know. That was that's funny coming out of pit road. We saw somebody. Okay, I saw somebody go head on into pit wall, and then we saw somebody get turned coming out of pit road. So interesting pit sequence here on lap number 33. Well, I hope he can get his. Regardless, I hope he can get his black flag cleared because that's a little different than intentionally or just drifting out to the outside. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess it's not different. He did just drift out to the outside. Oh! He was avoiding the 053. Yeah, I really hope that they take away his black flag then, because that's not fair. At that point, he's trying to avoid contact with another driver, keeping Jim Duda in the race, as Duda was coming out of pit road. I get it. I think that there's a rule in the league, right, that you want to be to the right of pit lane. So I think Duda's just trying to kind of follow the rules, but they ended up being almost 3 wide in a kind of weird, strange way, with a couple drivers just trying to make evasive maneuvers. But coming to the stripe right here, lights going off on the pace car. I thought we were about to get one more lap, but the lights actually went off. So 1 lap to green this time by. Going to go back Grayson on lap number 35.
Aaron Raymond on the outside line. Mike Bagwell has taken his number 18 truck, down to the bottom as Zane Bailey, Dan Witt, Miguel De La Cruz, and Justin Parham will bring it up 5th and 6th. Now, Mike Bagwell did not pit. He was one of the only trucks not to do so he is now 7 laps off cycle. That's a lot of laps to be off cycle for. I'm betting you he's banking on another caution before the pit stop window.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. You don't want to be quite that far off, but just a couple drivers, only 1 lap down. Only Michael McElroy, Larry Eddy, I believe both involved in that last accident. McElroy was really, really rapid up towards the front of the field. Unfortunate for him getting caught up in that, but still plenty of time, especially with the fast repairs, to get back on the lead lap with a clean truck. So I wouldn't count out McElroy out of this race just yet, because he was unbelievably quick, and I don't think the cautions are done. So I think we're going to get a couple more lucky dogs.
Nearing the halfway point in this race. We will get there in about 4 or 5 laps or so. Doing some math here of my own. Yeah, about lap 38. That will be our halfway mark. So we are about 5 laps away from the halfway point as Aaron Raymond and Mike Bagwell will take this one to the green.
I'm impressed by the impromptu math skills. I'm not used to hearing those from you. I'm very, very impressed.
I'm not. Math's not my strong suit. It never has been. Green flag's back in the air, lap 35. We'll get this show back on the road. Bagwell trying to keep Raymond at bay as the pack gets up to speed in turn 1.
Yeah, still side by side, going down through 1 and 2. Bagwell up in the lead for the first time tonight. The outside line actually looks a little bit more put together, but the bottom line has a little bit of an edge coming out of turn number 2 with Bagwell on the inside. Getting that push from Zane Bailey in the 20. Outside, not quite the head of steam that we've been seeing on the restart so far. But Raymond trying to make it up, going down into 3.
Whoa, we got a truck around in the background and sliding back up. That's the 29 that's had some problems. Mike Allen going around to the back straightaway. Something has gone really horribly awry for his machine. We'll get a look back and we'll see if we can track down what just happened to Allen. This is working the back straightaway.
Yeah, looking at the replay
got
here.
Some help.
Yeah, Jamie Walker got into the back of him. Going down into turn 3. Great job hanging onto that thing. Great job not going through the grass. An amazing job not pulling it back up in front of the field with that back end stepping out the way it did. Unbelievable job there from Howard.
On board with Mike Allen. He's going to get a bit of a hip here, and I think it may have been a stack up. It was a stack up. Great job to hang on to that.
That looked like Ryan Priest at Daytona, except we just didn't get him going through the grass flipping. I mean, the way that stack up happened and the way that he got shucked down to the infield was, to a T, the exact same as we saw in that summer Daytona race in real life. But Mike Bagwell able to hold on to the lead here on the inside of the racetrack, coming to lap number 37. But here comes Aaron Raymond on that outside with help from Dan Witt in the 99. Both those drivers have been up front just about all night. The two on the inside line, though, Mike Bagwell, Zane Bailey, we have not seen up front for the first 35 or so laps, cycling up towards the front of the pack through that last little pit sequence. Able to hold on to the race lead on the bottom of the racetrack really well so far. I think they've been doing the best job that I've seen so far, not allowing Raymond to even get side by side with the race leader. But as soon as I say it, Aaron Raymond side by side with the race leader with a push from the 99 all the way down the back straightaway. He might just clear Bagwell before they get down to turn 3.
He's going to try for it. Don't think he'll be able to get there, and he will not be able to get there as Bagwell back to the inside, shoved by Zane Bailey. Paul Witt, after being involved with the big one earlier on, he's starting to make some ground up on the top side, courtesy of some help from Thomas Lane Jr. 40 laps to go at the line, and we will be halfway home in 2.
Dan Witt having to look to the outside, actually looking to the outside so that he can pass Aaron Raymond.
Boy.
Gets a huge shove from Paul Witt right behind him. Dan Witt, Paul Witt pushing their way to the front on the outside of the racetrack. Hard contact in the outside wall. 3 drivers hard to the outside now, cutting back now to the infield. The 5 goes hard into the driver of the 69. 4, 5 trucks involved in that one on lap number 38.
And the 50 of Scott Vaughn involved for a second time here tonight as the trouble continues on the back straightaway. So caution is out for the 4th time this afternoon. Engine's starting to rise a little bit, I reckon. Let's get a look back on what happened here. And this all occurs in that mad scramble down into turn number 2.
This is iRacing, not I reckon.
Well, I mean, you never quite know, do you? Right there. Oh, they were 4 wide. No wonder. Sent the 5 up.
even at Talladega, that's a little tough to do. I mean, 4 wide. I mean, there's room for it, but man, you got to hope everybody knows, right? You don't ever get that spotter call that you're 4 wide. He just says 3 wide, and that's it. Even if you're 4, even if you're 5, even if you're 7, all he's going to tell you is 3. And at that point, you're just kind of you're hoping and praying that you actually are 3 wide. And I've had that happen to me multiple times where I've gotten involved in accidents where I only hear the 3 wide call, but there's actually 3 guys up above me. So a little bit frustrating there whenever you get caught in that situation. But only a couple of drivers involved from a 4 wide incident. Kind of surprising.
John Walter Jr. took a pretty hefty whack there, courtesy of Brett Rucker in the 69 truck. We're right on board with Brett here. This drive into turn 1. He was behind all of this mess. He was slowing down for the wreck.
Looked like he was going to have a miss on the inside. Did a good job cutting down to the apron, but the 5 just took a hard left after the accident. And, unfortunately for the driver of the 69, just not really anywhere for him to go.
Honestly, that's one of the most common types of secondary incidents you can ever get at a plate track, right? Is exactly something like that. You know, one truck just trying to get off the racetrack, just guns it down to the bottom, and unfortunately there's a truck that's going to be down there trying to get through, and it's just going to get clotheslined.
A couple drivers coming down right now to to top off on fuel. A little bit of a strategy call from a couple guys to maybe take a little bit less gas under a green flag pit cycle if we do happen to get one. It'll be tough to get one, but with us only having about 17 laps of gas in the tank, I wouldn't be too surprised if we did. But I believe, 15 cars come down pit road right here to top off on gas, maybe take a couple tires. A little bit of a strategy call from a couple of these guys.
Well, let's see. We are past halfway now, so we are past the halfway mark. Sorry, I was just reading up on a message. James Wurtzma, by the way, has clarified what happened to him earlier on. Fighting frame issues, and that would be the frames per second. He was down to 5.
Oh,
considering that, I think it's impressive he's lasted as long as he has.
It's understandable why he got rear-ended on the start of the race, too.
Yeah.
He probably did not get the green lights popping up on his dash as quick as everybody else, given that he had to wait a lot longer in terms of the frame rate. So just kind of unfortunate there for Wurtzma, but that's weird. Very strange issue to be down to 5 frames per second. I mean, I had Adobe Acrobat downloaded earlier today, and that was making my computer run down to about 2 frames per second. So maybe he downloaded a really bad software or something earlier.
Well, that has just allowed for Trace Gaskins into the lead in the 53 truck, plus 37 spots in the day. Now, granted, that's because he didn't pit under this caution flag, so it's not like he got up there out of pace alone. The only truck that is currently off cycle to everybody else is we will take lap 41. So the Snap-on Silverado.
I didn't even notice everybody came down. I thought we only had a handful of trucks come down to top off the gas. I didn't realize it was the entire field.
No, it was pretty much everyone.
Well, fair enough. That's what I get for taking a little bit of a bathroom break in the middle of the caution flag, I suppose. Just miss them coming into pit road. But interesting to see that there's not really anybody off strategy then, other than just one driver up at the front of the field. Gaskins leading a couple laps here under caution, as we do have that 1 lap to green once again. The lights on the top of the pace truck are out, and we're getting ready to get this thing back going here on lap number 42.
What do we think? How many more yellows are you thinking we got in this race? I'm thinking
80.
We'll have another. Well, I was actually going to say the same thing. I think 8 total. We had 4 in the first half. Stands to reason we'll have 4 in the second half.
Oh, no, I said 80.
Oh. I don't think it's possible to get that many.
I think we're going to... Oof, man. I think we're probably going to hit 10. That's going to be my number, my realistic number. Now, if we had unlimited green-white checkers, that 80 might come into play. And very unlikely, but might.
Trace Gaskins will be looking to make something happen. Aaron Raymond will be in second. Gaskins now is going to be the driver that's in a bit of an awkward position, because now he's going to be the one that's going to be forced to come down into pit road at a bit of an inopportune time.
He's going to have a caution. If he doesn't have a caution in 10 laps, he's going to be dead in the water, not going to have any chance whatsoever to get back over the front of this field. He'll probably go a lap down. I mean, maybe he can get lucky and a caution will come out after everybody else comes down pit road, and he'll at least be on the lead lap whenever the caution comes out, but he'll still be way off the pace, not within the main pack whatsoever. So he's definitely going to need that caution to come out sooner rather than later for the driver of the 53.
Into the restart zone, Trace Gaskins takes that green flag, and we get back to racing action on lap 42 of 77.
Gaskins, not really the greatest restart, not really the greatest push from the 99 either. Aaron Raymond on the outside, getting absolutely shoved through the corner from Justin Parham through 1 and 2. Raymond's going to have a pretty good run down the back straightaway, I got to think, coming out of turn number 2. That inside line's a little bit better pushed up together, but the outside groove, just the front 2 trucks, are a little bit closer together than the bottom 2 are. Aaron Raymond going to be able to just about get to the race lead, but the driver of the 53 now hooked up with Paul Witt on the inside, sorry, Dan Witt on the inside of the racetrack. Paul Witt right behind him. That bottom lane's now coming up towards the front. Ooh, the 53 of Trace Gaskins back to the race lead coming out of turn 4.
3 wide, just behind. One truck leading a solo charge all the way up on the top side of the track. That is the 187 of Scott Howell trying to make a move, and he's going to be forced to tuck back in line to the outside lane. Only double file a lot on this restart. Do you reckon maybe the field is kind of smartened up a little bit, and that's why we're seeing nobody really trying to make that 3 wide pass work just yet?
Yeah, I think they realize we've still got 35 laps to go at this point. I think that we kind of got a little bit of the hard racing towards the middle section of the event out of the way. I feel like now that we're almost verging on to the final third of this race, I think we're just kind of seeing a little bit calmer racing. But as soon as I say that, I'm looking back further about 15th place, and I see 3 wide Hornets Nest racing here through 3 and 4 Talladega. I've got to imagine that third lane is going to fight its way up towards the front at some point. We're going to see some hard 3 wide, 4 wide battling up towards the front, up for the lead. Oh man, we might be 4 wide through the tri-oval right now. A couple of drivers making evasive moves out to the outside. Able to double file it back out, triple file it back out. But man, it looked like we were just about 5 wide through the tri-oval there that time by.
Just about 4, well, I think they were 4 wide, and well, 5 wide's possible, but I don't ever see it work out well in iRacing. I have seen it work in the real world, shockingly enough, but not on iRacing. iRacing doesn't have the facilities for that, so to speak, as double file up towards the front. And how about the 31 of Miguel De La Cruz? Whoa, he's going to get into Paul Witt. Paul Witt spins around right back up into traffic. That's going to collect the entire pack as they crash big time coming out of turn number 4.
Oh my word, that is 2012 Talladega finish written all over it. That is Dale Jr. concussion in the fence driving Jimmy Johnson back to the pit lane. I'm telling you right now, that was a massive incident from the front of the field. Oh my goodness. Yep, true. Same accident. Absolutely right. Goodness gracious. Paul Witt, that started right up front. I believe, I can't even remember who was on the bottom, who was on the top, but whoever was in the middle lane got turned from the 3rd place driver, or second on the outside groove down
Paul
into,
Witt.
I believe, Paul Witt, and stuck or started out that entire accident. Might have been De La Cruz that was on the outside that had originally gotten the contact. Could not quite tell.
We'll get another look back, and, well, we'll look to potentially find some momentum in it's a bit further back to we were tending. So we'll get to that in a moment when we can find out exactly where all of this started. I know Paul Witt was one of the trucks that was right near the front. So here we go. The 79 of Chase McGuire pushing the Ford 29. And right there pushes him up and out and then hooks him in the left rear. Classic super speedway incident, that.
Aaron Raymond nowhere to go. Able to get through it relatively nicely, though, but Paul Witt getting spun like a top straight up into that 3 wide Hornets Nest we had just been talking about. Absolutely nowhere for anybody in the field to go.
Was that in the red truck that just sliced through the middle?
Oh, I don't even know what truck you were looking at. There's so many different cars slide. Oh, hard contact on the inside wall. Couldn't quite tell. That was maybe Thomas Lane.
And a lot of trucks now down and into pit road as well. Pretty much the entire field once again have come on in for service as we work caution number 5. And I'm going to look through the field here, if you will bear with me, try to track down who that red truck was. Had a Robert Jordan little sticker on the hood. I think no, not Bagwell. It was all red, I believe. No.
Sorry, I just had the heaviest coughing fit of my entire life. I will try.
Well, I heard it start.
I muted as soon as I could. I muted as soon as I could, but yeah, I'm gonna try to look back as well to try to help you out now that I can breathe.
I think it may have been Bagwell. You know, we'll round aboard with Bagwell. We'll see if he was indeed our. I think it was actually. So this is up over with Bagwell. Watch this mess as he tries to go full throttle through the wreck.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
It's not over.
There's no way. Man, I mean, that looks
There
like
you go.
that looks like the NASCAR Thunder 2003 license challenge, where you had to go through turns 1 and 2 and avoid the entire wreck with that the Kodak number 4 machine. Was it Mike Skinner that drove it back then? Man, I don't even remember.
I think it was, yeah.
My goodness, that looked very, very similar. I mean, unbelievable job from him getting through that wreck. You said it was Bagwell? Yeah, Mike Bagwell. Unbelievable job getting through there. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Whoa.
That's ridiculous.
So we saw what it looked like out of the front of that truck. Let's get a look on what it looked like from the rear of this truck entering turn number 3.
Yeah, look to the right of your screen. Just watch the right side.
Jams on the brakes here, and that's how close Brad Slater came to cleaning him out.
And the 31 was spinning. Oh,
And the
my goodness.
29.
What in the world, man?
Luck
Takes a little
from
bit of
the
luck,
front
a little bit
and
of
the
skill.
back.
Yeah, he put his truck in the absolute perfect spot. So it's a little bit of skill, a lot of bit of luck. But hey, from the broadcast booth, it doesn't matter if it's skill or luck. It looks just as exciting either way. But coming to what, we'll have 30 laps to go at this point. Still going to have one more pit stop. Through this part of the race, who are you liking the most so far? Who do you think has looked the best of the front runners? Personally, I would probably go with Aaron Raymond. I feel like Aaron, especially from last week, you know, he won the original Truck Series League last season, and he did really, really well in the Super Speedway Blitz. Now leading the way right here, and looked really, really good in the season finale last week at Daytona. Unbelievably quick. So, kind of looking at Aaron Raymond to piece this thing together and come home a winner. Now, still 30 laps to go. Going to be a little tough to call that with 30 laps to go. We've been seeing all the accidents, and there's still, 33 cars on the lead lap, 33 trucks on the lead lap. Going to be tough for any one of those guys to bring it home, but I think Aaron Raymond's probably got the best chance out of any of them.
Double file back up again. 30 laps to go this time through. Racing action will continue. The TNGG IL Super Speed, well, not the Super Speed Blitz, but the Robert Jordan 200. I'm used to just saying that based on the pure reflex from 8 weeks just about in a row. I'll have to get used to the TNGG IL Truck Series when it finally rolls around come February again. It'll take a little bit of getting used to for sure.
Man, 30 laps to go. Not too much longer left here tonight to determine the winner. I said Aaron Raymond. Who do you think is bringing home the checkered flag tonight? Dang! Every time I ask you that question, you go silent.
I don't have an answer. That's why.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Have you seen this race? It's impossible to answer a question like that. Green flag's back in the air. I'll go with Aaron Raymond, just for the heck of it.
Okay, fair enough. He is leading the way, but I believe that outside line is a little bit better packed up. Raymond does not really have the help from McRoberts from behind. He is just waiting on the driver of the 34. Now the 34 back on the back bumper, giving him a shove. Aaron Raymond going to be able to get a little bit of a run through turn 2. That outside groove with McGuire and Hanneman looking really strong coming out of turn 2. They are hooked up down the back straightaway. And don't look now, but the 99 of Dan Witt right there with them on the outside groove of the racetrack. Do they pull down? The front 2 are clear. Do they pull down to the bottom of the racetrack? They do. The 85 and the 79 both pulling down to the bottom. Move McGuire up to the race lead.
Chase McGuire driving this one through to the point. Just going up to the top side is going to be Ryan McRoberts as he tries to run down Aaron Raymond. Raymond Hanneman, Chase McGuire looking to go with it as he's going to make this charge up towards the front end of the field. The 34 trying to make some headway, but right now he's got to hope that Dan Wick can link up to the back bumper, and hanging that far back, they're going nowhere.
Yeah, that outside line is going backwards at this point. They're just not stacked up quite close enough. Oh, man, the 34 gets shuffled out towards the outside of the groove, 3 wide. I believe that was Parham in the 19 with a crazy late move to the outside, trying to block him off. Ends up working out for him. He gets the push, but it kind of separated that outside line into 2 separate lines. And they're still going backwards, so kind of a tough break from McRoberts there in the 34, getting somebody, pushing him out of the groove and just kind of stacking up that outside groove. And they're just going to have to find it all back, trying to get everybody back in line to kind of mount another charge.
Scott Howell, along with Chauncey Henry Jr., both tried to make some momentum, and they ended up slipping backwards on the outside line, and I don't think they're going to be able to make too much headway with just the two of them up there. It is possible, but it's difficult, right? Especially when you've only got 2 trucks compared to an entire field's worth down to the bottom 2 lanes. But they got some more looking to close up to them. Brad Slagle, Kyle Howard, and more all starting to track into that third groove as we look to make a run down towards turn 3. And Dan Witt will jump to the top side on the Alabama Gang super stretch.
Yeah, they're starting to form up here 3 wide for about that 6th place position. Dan Witt looking to the outside of the 34 of McRoberts, trying to get that outside groove working. Only got 3 trucks up there at the time. I just don't know if that outside line is going to be able to do enough with 3 trucks. They're going to need 4, they're going to need 5, they're going to need 6 to be able to do anything, to be able to push up to the front. But right now the 99 is getting a huge shove from the 187 of Howell, and they're trying to get up there with just the 3 trucks, and it looks like they might be able to get side by side for third.
Now, the last time we raced here at Talladega, the race finished on an overtime attempt and under caution. Remember, they only have 1 green-white checkered attempt. Do you think we're going to be making this race without an overtime attempt? Because my money's on no, especially with races like this. As oh boy, a big chop to the bottom.
Not. Absolutely not. It's just going to be getting crazier and crazier as we get down to the end of this thing, especially the last 5 laps. We're going to see people absolutely losing their mind, chopping noses off at the absolute last second every time they get the opportunity. So I think once we get down to the nitty-gritty of this thing, as if we're not there already with 27 to go, it's going to get absolutely chaotic as we've got a new race leader, the 187 of Scott Howell, up front for the first time tonight, taking the lead away from the 99 car or truck of Dan Witt.
Man, I feel bad for Chauncey Henry Jr. He gave it everything to make that third groove work. In the second they had the chance, they abandoned him like a third wheel on the top side, and he dropped all the way down to the pack, and now he's got to do all of that work all over again. I would not be willing to work with these guys anymore if I was Chauncey with that one. Meanwhile, Scott Howell with that lead now in the 187. Justin Parham still trying to fight that outside, and you got Ryan McRoberts and Dan Witt both trying to go with them. 25 to go this time.
Spinner in the back, coming back across the racetrack, collecting another driver through turn 4 at the very back of the pack. Ends up being a minor incident just involving, I believe, 2 or 3 drivers. That was a weird one, way back in the back.
Logan Amos, one of the spinners in the 27 Silverado, as we will be on our 6th yellow flag with 25 laps to go, so lap 52. This caution flag flies, and we'll get the look back, and we'll see what happened. That puts Amos around, exiting turn number 4. Oh, 53 getting tipped from the 44. Then, yeah, well, that explains that. He had nothing to do with that mess initially.
Yeah, just kind of a tough break at the back of the racetrack. Kind of unfortunate that one brings out a caution because it was never going to collect too many drivers at the very back of the pack. But
good save, though.
Caution, yeah, a great save. But unfortunately, the caution does come out. And so we're on to our, 6th caution of the evening. I said 10. We need 4 more in 25 laps. I don't know. I'm liking my call of 10 at this point.
I don't think 10. I think 9. We've been making it further and further with these green-white checkered attempts. I genuinely believe that we could have some big potential here to get this long green flag run in. We are now, granted, we're only 7 laps away from making it to the end of this race on 1 tank of fuel. So this might be the second to last stop these guys make. But if this goes green to the end, they're still going to have to pit again for a splash and go.
Yeah, I don't think that we can make it to the end here either. 25 laps to go, coming to 24 this time by after they get that thing chock full of fuel. I have to agree with you. I think we're going to, everybody's going to have to come down and take, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 gallons more of gas just to be able to make it to the end of this thing. So going to be interesting to kind of see how the strategy plays out. Do we get that green flag pit stop or do we get that caution? I mean, we're going to get the caution. Everybody's going to have to come down again under caution. We're not getting a green flag pit stop at this point, I don't think.
Every time these guys come down to pit road, I can't help but be mesmerized as I watch our timing tower go absolutely ballistic, trying to keep up with all the position swaps on pit road. I was watching McGuire as he kept passing and being passed on pit road, just kind of hovering right around the 11th spot. He kept on kind of shivering back and forth between 9th and 13th. It's an amusing sight, to put it mildly.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to worry with all the producer side of things. I just get to sit here, look pretty, and watch the race.
Well,
now nobody would know
we
that
don't
I
have
look pretty.
cameras,
But
so.
yeah, nobody would know I look pretty, but I look pretty. I don't know.
Do you want to put that to the test?
No, not really. Not particularly. Look, I'm 25. I haven't dated anybody in 7 years. You think I actually look pretty? Probably not.
Well, at least you've dated someone. There's that.
Oh
boy.
man, we've turned into depression flag TV. This is sad.
Well, we'll have 22 laps to go at the line this time.
What would a depression flag look like? If we had to wave a depression flag, what would it be?
I have no idea.
What color are we looking at? What side are we looking at?
I have no idea. John Holiday predicting 10 cautions.
Yeah, John, that's what I'm talking about, buddy.
And John
That's what I'm
Holiday
saying.
not able to make the race on this one, unfortunately. Still in Arizona, as he has reported in our YouTube chat, but watching on from home. So John is in the Austin camp for 10. I'm still going with 9. I don't think we're going to quite get to that double digits threshold. Now, if we got a caution within 3 laps out of the gate, I'll join you in the double digits club.
I need all the fans I can get in my double digits club. I'm telling you, it's going to be 10 cautions. Straight up. I mean, come on. We've been having so many accidents. We got the 1 green, white checkered possibility.
Well,
I'm
all for round numbers, but not in that sense.
9's okay because it's a square root. Or sorry, it's a square of another number too. There's some weird numbers that are weird like that are kind of like, you love 5s and you love 10s because they're so super easy, and then you kind of like squares because they're also different. I don't know. This is actually merging into weird conversation, but anyway, I think I'm just going a little delirious. Yeah, I don't know. Just randomly the numbers start talking to me like I'm Mason from Black Ops.
Numbers
college.
mean.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's just randomly they just come out.
It's just me in every math class I have ever been in my life.
What do the numbers mean?
Honestly, I gave up understanding that when imaginary numbers got introduced. I was like, nah, we're done here. I'm checking out. You tell me I can't make up a number, then you introduce imaginary numbers. Get out of here.
You don't like 5i plus 3?
No.
You don't like
no.
that
Not in the slightest.
I don't blame you. Those are a little weird.
Thankfully, all I have to worry about as a producer is averages, multiplication, division. It's too much math.
No, that's simple. That's
there's
simple.
more
You
math
got
than
it.
Not in my head. It's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Like, you got to add 2 weird numbers together. Like, so you got
Do
like.
you want to see the 3 calculator apps I have on my desktop?
Let's say you got like 67 plus, let's just say 27, right? All you do is you take 3 from the 27 and add it to 67, which gives you 70 plus 24. And 70 plus 24 is infinitely easier than 67 plus 27. 70 plus 24 would be 94. Both are 94.
I stopped listening 3 years ago.
Boom. I didn't know you 3 years ago.
Exactly.
We're getting ready to go back green here with 22 laps to go in the Robert Jordan 200. As the driver of the 34, Ryan McRoberts, leads us back to green flag. He's loud on the gas pedal, getting back to the green, able to take the lead away from the 71. That bottom lane looks a little bit more put together here, going down to turn 1. The 34 getting a huge shove from the driver of the 31. That's Miguel De La Cruz.
Sending this one up and around, turns 1 and 2 to the Alabama gang super stretch. McRoberts still with the lead. De La Cruz runs second. Kyle Howard jumping to the top shelf right in front of Mike Campbell, making the drive for the lead on the top.
The 13 ducking out to the outside. trying to get his way up to the race lead for the first time tonight. He's got Campbell in the 71 right behind him, giving him a huge shove through 3 and 4. Not quite able to get to the back of the bumper, though, through turn 4. But he's got Brad Slagle right behind him in that outside groove. Now pushing him up to the back bumper of Howard. The outside line's going to go back to the race lead as McRoberts just cannot do anything on the bottom lane just as of yet as they fight back to the line.
21 to go as Kyle Howard getting set to make something happen as Ryan McRoberts trying to fend him off from the bottom. De La Cruz and McRoberts, though, got to really try to fend off the Howard-Campbell combo. Up on the top side, trying to save that one 5 times fast as the 34 truck remaining clear for the bottom as the top 2 on the top side will get broken up.
Howard Campbell combo, Howard Campbell combo, Howard Campbell combo, Howard Campbell combo, Howard Campbell combo coming on the outside groove. 5 times fast, baby. Howard to the outside trying to get back to the race lead. He's side by side for second with the 31.
Boy, I'll put my hands together on that one. Fair enough. Fair play. Put the money where the mouth is.
You lined me up for it, but now here comes the Howard Campbell combo on the outside through the tri-oval. Kyle Howard trying to take the race lead back. I think he had him at the line. Super tight between the two. No, McRoberts actually had it by 0.03 of a second that time by taking 20 laps to go. Howard, though, still on the outside of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2, trying to get a big push to the 71 once more down the back straightaway.
3 wide at the tail end, and that, I think, is Chauncey Henry Jr. trying to establish that runner from the top side, but nobody at the moment going with him. Less than 20 laps to go at the line. Time is starting to run out from the Talladega Superspeedway, and I'm still thinking we are only getting 9 cautions on the afternoon, looking for 3 wide for the lead for a moment. Campbell tried to go to the top and ended up thinking against it, but Brad Slagle, he almost thought about going with him, so Kyle Howard's got to watch himself. That third lane might be looking mighty appetizing to the drivers behind him.
Yeah, I thought Campbell was about to go around off the nose of Brad Slagle, but they were able to keep it in line behind the driver of the 13. That's Kyle Howard taking the race lead, going down into turn number 1. But the 71 still looking to the outside. I really think the 71's just overheating a little bit. He's looking way out to the outside, trying to keep that thing cooled down through the center of the corner. And then he just kind of ducks back down behind the 13 as they get back to the straightaways. Oh, a little bit of an issue there towards the back. A couple drivers scattering. Everybody able to keep it clean, though, as we're still all good. But, man, they were just about 4 wide all the way back for about last place.
Yeah, Ambrose Debo kind of tucking out a line, coming onto the back straightaway, wanted nothing to do with what was going on up in front, so he's going to fade to the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Howard reestablishes that momentum and pushes around the top, trying to clear into the tri-oval. McRoberts and Brad Slagle. Campbell and Brad Slagle trying to push Kyle Howard through to the point. 18 to go. Kyle Howard leads his first lap of the night.
Ooh, Kyle Howard was clear. I was surprised that he did not go down to the bottom of the racetrack. We've been seeing everybody do that all night. They get clear, they go down to the bottom of the racetrack, they take that bottom side and just hold on to the lead for as long as they can until they get cleared by the next guy on the outside. Howard, though, stays committed to the outside line, even with Campbell struggling with those attempts right behind him in the 71 truck. Oh, man, they're scattering back towards the back of the pack.
Oh, here we go.
Wrecking towards the back. Thomas Lane Jr. around, multiple drivers involved, most of the field from 20th on back, all collected here, all scattering down the back straightaway.
Zane Bailey is among the wrecked, and there's a lot of trucks that got torn up, and among those was Thomas Lane Jr., who slammed hard into the outside wall. Big crash, and that's going to put us under the 7th yellow flag of the night. Are you still standing with your 10 caution prediction?
Look, I don't go back on my word, buddy. We got 3 more cautions coming up.
You think? That'd be about...
Oh, yeah.
That would put us in overtime, actually, at this point.
It's happening, buddy. I have to believe.
All right, well, you can stay with it, and I'll be ready to prove you wrong by the end.
Hey, we don't go back on our word.
Hopefully. And so we'll look back and find out what happened to Thomas Lane Jr. and more as the whole field just fell apart on the back straightaway. This got messy in a hurry as, a bit further back than we were intending on, but it'll get the job done for our purposes on figuring out what went down on the backstretch.
Taking a look at the replay, everybody just racing hard. Zane Bailey on the back of Thomas Lane Jr. right here, 38 and 20.
4 wide.
Oh, yeah, the 04 kind of gets clipped from behind. He clips the 99, goes up into the 20. Who clips the 19? Who clips the 38? Who also spins across the racetrack, and everybody scatters.
One of the trucks bouncing along the infield, and Mike Campbell again just barely avoiding disaster from that middle groove. The 13 must have a lucky charm in that car, which is very counterintuitive with it being the 13 truck.
I can't believe this. I'm going to have to start driving the 13 if this is the kind of luck that, that you're going to get driving that thing.
Oh, I don't actually, maybe not. He may have been the one that hooked the 28 there. Oh, that was a hard hit for Bailey down at the inside of the racetrack.
Yeah, but if he hooks somebody, that's damage for somebody else, not him. True.
You are out of line, but you're right. And I hate that.
Who cares about the 4X in a hosted race, man? It's not a big deal. Oh, but man, everybody coming down pit road, taking that last pit. Oh, man.
Ooh.
Made some maneuvers there from the 34. Great job getting on the binders.
Oh, well, the 30 truck just blowing through all the pit stalls.
Yes, I guess he didn't care about trying to stay to the right. But hey, coming down to 16 laps to go now. I do believe everybody's going to be good on gas. Let's get that late green, white checkered. But if we get up to 10 cautions, like I'm thinking, they're going to have plenty of time to save. Oh, my.
Yeah, I'm not calling that a wreck avoidance of that one. I'm going to be brutally honest.
Yeah, his truck is going to be clean, but he right reared somebody.
Yeah, I'm not going to call that one a wreck avoidance on that one.
That's fair. I'll give it to you. That's
there was
definitely not a wreck
we'll
avoidance.
put it
That is a wreck cause right there. He added to the mayhem.
And this is on board with Ryan McRoberts as he was leaving his pit box and had to jam on the binder, something fierce.
McRoberts been up towards the front.
Whoops. Good heads-up driving, though, I will say. Like, that, again, could have been a pretty hefty smack, but he did a good job to kind of avoid what could have been a disaster.
Yeah, if he would have just kept out, driving on out to the outside like you would normally expect, he would have absolutely clipped the left rear of Paul Witt there and sent Witt head on into the pit wall. So really good job there from the driver of the 34, being able to keep that thing or get back on the brakes as soon as possible. Great job there.
Kyle Howard is going to be looking to make a good charge up towards the front end of the field here. Kyle Howard, again, one of those drivers that showed a lot of promise in the Super Speedway Blitz, and I'm curious to see what he's going to be able to make of his career and get set for regular series action come February. We'll be going green with 14 to go. I don't know. I don't think we're getting to 10. I'm being honest. I don't think we're getting to 10.
You have no faith. What if we get a caution right on this restart? What you gonna think?
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, it is looking more and more likely that you're going to be correct. I think we're looking at 80-20 in favor of you right now. Man, I'm gonna tell you what, I'm really enjoying this race, but I'm getting a little tired. It's been a lot of good racing this week that has just absolutely taken it out of me, man. I feel like we have just been on one nonstop all week, catching race after race, and I don't think that there's been a bad one all week. Starting out Monday with the HTRL MF Racing Design Series, had a great race at Michigan. I will say the correct track. Then Wednesday with the Beer League. Unbelievable season opener with the Beer League. Loving the late models on the road courses at the Daytona MotoGP layout. And then obviously this morning, man. This morning with the VSCA Roar Before the 24. I mean, we've just had such good racing all week long. There's not been a single bad race. And that even goes to last Saturday here with the championship for the TNGG iRacing Series. It was unbelievable last week at Daytona. So I'm thrilled with how much amazing racing we have been getting this week. It's taking it out of me though a little bit. I'm looking forward to the off day tomorrow. That's for sure.
It's been a long day for you. I mean, you've been at this, what, if you include tonight, we're thinking probably, what, 16 hours almost now?
Well, there was a good break there in the middle. I mean.
Oh, there you go.
Or you? Well, I've done probably 18 hours of broadcasting now over the week, on top of my 40-hour work week. So, if that's what you're talking about, then yeah. But hey, it's part of the fun, man. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't enjoy it. As we come to 14 laps to go here, race leader Kyle Howard on the inside, trying to keep that lead, but Miguel De La Cruz doing a great job on the outside, getting a huge push here from the 187 of Scott Howell. That outside line, oh man, they're not really staying together though. Howell looking to the outside a little bit too early. That's going to hurt the momentum there from the outside groove for now, but I do think that they're going to get hooked back up before they get down to the back straightaway. Howell all over the back bumper of De La Cruz down the back straightaway. They're going to be able to take the lead down the back away from Kyle Howard.
Great drive there for De La Cruz to make his way to the front. And I thought for a moment Scott Howell was going to go around with how much that truck was bobbling in the drive down into turn numbers 1 and 2. And now, in fact, look to the top side. So De La Cruz probably, oh, wow, that was shrewd. I thought De La Cruz was going to be caught in the sucker hole, but nobody went with Christopher Howell like he thought they would. That's one of those hazards, right? If you're going to make a move like that, you better be dang sure that you're going to have people going with you.
Yeah, I just feel like he made that way too early. I think he was in a prime position. Oh, he just hip-checked a Bud car, the 69, in the middle of the track. I think Howell just made a really bad move there. I really think that he needed to just bide his time. He had the track position. You didn't need to make it 3 wide at that point. Now he's back all the way in about 15th place as they're racing hard for the lead up towards the front. Miguel De La Cruz able to take the lead. Raymond Hammond pushing him along in the 85 down towards turn number 3. Kyle Howard trying to fight back on the inside groove now as they enter turn 3.
Howard continuing to pull clear with that race lead out of turn number 4. 3 wide, a pair in the background as the lines just keep on shifting and shifting. A dozen laps to go, this time by De La Cruz and Kyle Howard remain packed up, nose to tail, door to door, as the pack looks 2 and then 3 further in the back.
Yeah, they're 3 wide from about 20th on back, but up front they're just double file for about the first 10 grooves. But it's still hard racing at the front of the field coming off of turn number 2. 12 laps to go. Kyle Howard was trying to make that bottom line work, but the outside's just looking really, really good down the back straightaway as Miguel De La Cruz takes the lead back with a huge push from Raymond Hanneman, and they both dive to the inside of the racetrack entering turn 3. They take the lead away. Oh, actually, Hanneman ducks to the inside of the 31 of De La Cruz and takes the lead away on the bottom of the racetrack in front of Kyle Howard.
Not for long. Kyle Howard back up to the top shelf, trying to make that move to the outside. Whoa, almost contact as they almost came together in the middle of the pack. They will come together now as Hanneman and Howard go door to door and almost second third as well. We're looking for 3 wide towards the background as well. Oh. And now we're crashing. That's going to be a big hit into the outside wall. Multiple trucks involved.
Hey, we still got time for 2 more.
Oh, Bagwell got involved. Big time. Definitely didn't luck out this time around.
Yeah, that front end's dented up just a little bit. He might be having to take a fast repair on that one.
Raymond Hammond with the lead. We'll go green with less than 10 to go. This is where it gets wild. We'll get a look back on everything that went down, and I think this kind of kicked off with Jim Duda middle of the pack as they ran down in towards turn number 1 as 4 wide. Almost found the outside wall, and then right there, it all falls apart.
Not surprised to see just massive, massive accidents over and over and over again. Still have 34 trucks on the lead lap after 8 cautions and 70 laps.
That 3 truck of Dustin Haynes went for a wild ride coming on down through the corner there. That was a pretty, that's a wild one that a few of these trucks found themselves on. Just a bad bump to the 30. And then right in the background, Bagwell getting involved in a big way, and we'll get a look from Bagwell on what went down here. Again, this is working back around and into turn 1 as the field more or less fell apart in front of them. Now watch this here. You're going to see the smoke start right there. The 34 gets into the 47. Bagwell runs over the 26, trying to just stack up for this wreck, and unfortunately he too will get hit from behind from Paul Witt, and that kicks him right down into the path of Thomas Lane Jr., who had nowhere to go.
Yeah, just another tough accident all the way around.
Ooh.
Coming to the end of this thing, not surprised to see multiple drivers go hard. That's kind of weird to see people hitting that inside wall. I don't know if I typically see people hitting that, but major accidents coming to 9 laps to go. Still technically time for the 9th and 10th caution to come out, but I am getting less and less sure that it will happen. I think if it's going to happen, we're going to have a green, white, checkered and caution come out to end the race. And to be honest, I don't want that to happen. I want this thing to run green.
It would. I think we would still get a 10th caution, but it has to come out within the first 2 laps of this race going green, and that would get us a nat green, white, checkered.
I want this thing to run green. We deserve to have a good finish. I would rather be wrong with a good finish than right with it ending under caution or close to ending under caution. So I'm hopeful. I hope that I am wrong.
I kind of agree with you, right? The fact that we've been trying to have this race run clean towards the end. And I mean, these races are going to get this way, right? I mean, you're talking open hosted lobby, 40+ trucks.
Yeah. I mean,
packed up on a 2.6 mile super speedway. You're going to get these caution strings. I have faith that we can make it to a green, white, checkered. Or, well, that we can make it to a green flag finish, I should say.
I'm hopeful we will just run green here, and we'll both be wrong on the amount of cautions. I think that would make me the most happy out of any of the possible outcomes. Yeah, green flag to the end, only 8 cautions. Yeah, let's do that.
Still looking for that 1 to go signal. Raymond Hanneman with the lead. Kyle Howard second. Rick Schneider is in third. Miguel De La Cruz is in fourth. Aaron Raymond fifth. Chase McGuire is in sixth. Matthew Dunphy is in seventh. Scott Howland eighth. Mike Campbell, Cole Snyder round out the top 10.
Really good race here for the Robert Jordan 200. It's been so good all night.
Absolutely. And there we go, 1 to green, 7 laps. Lucky number 7. Do you think it'll be our lucky number tonight?
Probably not.
If we're being honest.
If I'm being honest, no. If I'm being hopeful, hopefully.
That was a very quick answer.
I mean, look, it's Talladega with 40. There's still 31 trucks on the lead lap that are all probably clean because they've all had fast repairs. So 31 of them gunning for this thing. I'd be hard pressed to not have a caution in 7 laps. I mean, or 6 laps, I guess, because you only count the first 6. So I don't know. Maybe we can skip it green for the first 6, and then we can just have an absolutely unbelievably crazy last lap where 30 of the 31 cars all crash in a heap of glory, flames flying out from everywhere, and we just see one truck come from 31st to 1st on the last lap. That would be ideal. I gotta say, that would be ideal. It has a non-zero chance as well. It is possible.
It is.
Technically.
But there's also a less than 0% chance that we are going to send this race into overtime.
Oh yeah, I'm worried about the overtime. I want us to run green, man. I want to get this awesome finish. I know that if we have a couple laps, we can get that 3-wide racing for the lead going. It just does take a little bit of time to kind of get that momentum built up, get somebody willing to make that third line work. It typically has to come from a little bit further back because typically the guys up front don't want to give up the track position. But now coming into the end with 7 laps to go, we could see some more trucks kind of dipping out to that outside line from a little bit higher up in the running order. Just might see that outside groove kind of falter a little bit. Sorry, that'll turn into the middle groove, kind of falter a little bit as trucks fall out into the outside groove. But coming to the green flag, 7 laps to go. Raymond Hanneman, Kyle Howard leading the way.
7 laps to go as the 85 Ford F-150 takes us back to the restart zone. The green flag drops, and we get set for the final sprint in Talladega.
Raymond Hanneman didn't get the greatest of starts, but he does have a decent push there from the 0-3. Rick Schneider right behind him in that 3rd place position.
Well,
the
there
caution
we go.
is out. Well, now it's looking like I might be wrong.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Well, this was my caution prediction for the evening, was 9. So I don't think this puts us. Okay, this does not put us to overtime yet. We will still get, I think, a 3-lap dash, I want to say.
I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's gonna be 2.
I don't think we're going to spend 5 laps under caution, though. Usually the cautions at Talladega are pretty quick by lap comparisons.
I'm only saying 2 because they're catching the pace car instead of letting the pace car go. So they're gonna have to catch them on lap 6. Lap 6 will be the pit lap.
Well, 6 laps
which will mean
to go.
5 to go. Yeah, sorry. 6 to go will be the pit lap. 5 to go will be the lucky dog lap. And
well, no, the lucky dog lap is served at the same time as the pit lap.
Sorry. Well, yeah. I meant the lap car pitting. I don't know. You might be right. It might be 3.
I was saying, well, don't at super speedways, don't the lap trucks come down with the leaders as well?
No, I don't think so.
I could have swore they did because I haven't seen us go with the second pit lap before. Well, we'll find out, I guess, won't we?
I could be wrong.
It might be 4 to go, based off of that. No, you're right. Okay, my math is off. No, it'd be at least 3 to go, possibly 2. But we will not be going into overtime on this restart attempt. We know that for a fact. Let's take a look back on what happened here to Bagwell and more. This is working down into turn 1. Slago looks high, kind of scrambling a bit. 4 wide, I think. And that possibly net code? Nope, not quite. Bagwell gets hooked. And that just sends them around.
I got to say, I remember about 3 cautions ago, you were talking big about how that 13 must be good looking. Ever since then, if we didn't have faster players, that thing would be covered in dents right now.
Yeah. I'll take the blame for that one.
Cursing. Typically, the curses come from my mouth, but tonight it seems like it's been you that's.
Well, 13's an unlucky number. I'll blame it on that.
What happened on the bottom of the racetrack there, by the way, that caused the huge stack up?
Well, I think somebody shifted in the wrong gear. That's my assumption.
Had to have been.
Well, let's look back from the drop of the green flag onward, and watch the inside. Watch the first
right behind
the
6. Right behind the 6 of Raymond, the 4th car on the inside. Is that McElroy in the 34?
No, I am.
Or McRoberts, I mean.
It's not Slagle. It's the 91 of Matthew Dunphy. That's right on board with Dunphy. This will be
a slow restart. Very strange. A couple guys saving fuel also on the apron
right
now.
He's not in second there.
Oh, so he's just in
wrong
gear.
Definitely wrong gear.
I've done that
right there, you heard him shift down. Or tried to at least.
I hate, man. I've done that plenty of times.
So he was in the wrong gear. I think it was in 4th gear. He tried to downshift into 3rd, missed the mark, and sent it into neutral instead, and then had to reshift into 3rd.
Well, I mean, he didn't get wrecked, so oh well. I guess he did get a little bit of right side damage, but hey, that caution ended up saving him because he would have just gone completely backwards. Unfortunately, the 71, a couple other trucks too that have been quick all day, getting stuck behind him. Mike Campbell in the 71, he was running in the 9th place position. He is now all the way back in 24th because of that mistake that he had nothing to do with. So tough break for the 71 and a couple other guys that were a little bit further back behind.
So, thinking back to this, now this past lap, they're passing pit road now. This past lap, they had the chance to come down and into the pits. So
I think you're right then. It's going to be 3.
Yeah, so I do believe that it sends everybody down into pit road at least at the same time. Because that's what they do on road courses, right? At the road courses, well, at least by Irish standards, everybody pits at the same time, whether you're a lap car, truck, or not. And well, they primarily do that because, right, the cautions are so long that it speeds up the process. I think they do the same thing at a lot of the bigger tracks. I don't think they do it at Michigan. I know they do it at Daytona, Talladega. I think they do it at Pocono as well. Don't quote me on that, though.
I'm gonna have to do some research then. I've been on this service since 2017, and I did not realize that they did that like that at the super speedways.
I
So
didn't
I
know
need to
either.
do some research.
Well, I didn't know that either until I started broadcasting. It's one of those things you don't really notice too much as a driver.
Yeah, you just kind of go whenever it tells you to go down. And
Yeah,
you just
well,
listen to
exactly.
it, and you never really, it never really registers with you, I guess.
Yeah,
that
you
it
go
might
when
be
it
a
tells you
little
to
bit
go, and you just assume you're going in with everybody else that's presumably on or around your lap.
Hopefully, that was the last caution. I'm hoping. I like being right most of the time, but tonight I would love to be wrong.
Hanneman still with the lead. We did not get very far on the last caution attempt before we found ourselves back behind the pace truck. About to hit double digits. If the caution comes out again, we're sent to overtime. And then that would make this an 11 caution race. So we can have 11 cautions at the absolute most.
I mean, could you imagine you saying, "There's no way we're going to get to 10," and then we get to 11?
Right.
Oh,
it wouldn't be the first time I've been wrong about that.
Ow. Sorry. Anyway, coming to 3 laps. Yeah. But because I had to plug in my microphone earlier, I accidentally just stepped on my cord and almost yanked my headset off my head with my foot. Anyway,
that's
go ahead.
expensive.
Yeah, great job by me.
Pace truck is into pit road. Green flag is out with 3 laps to go in the Robert Jordan 200.
Raymond Hanneman on the inside groove. Kyle Howard on the outside. Both of them getting huge pushes down into turn 1. 3 laps to go. Couple drivers now looking to the outside. I believe that's Brad Slagle looking to the outside. 3 wide in the 052. Trying to make that outside groove work, but Kyle Howard in the middle groove now on the outside of Raymond Hanneman, able to take the race lead with a push from Miguel De La Cruz on the outside.
Look at Brad Slagle with that big charge. As you mentioned, Slagle being pushed by the 29 of Mike Allen, and he's got De La Cruz in the mix as well. Sorry, that's the 19 truck in the mix up on the top side of Justin Parham's on the outside lane. Starting to open up, but they've still got to make it around one more time before this race will be confirmed official on regulation. And we're got a lot of 3 wide action. I don't think we're making it back.
Yeah, we're racing hard, 3 wide. Everybody trying to find their way to the lead. We're 3 wide for the race lead at the line, taking 2 laps to go. Brad Slagle in the 052, just able to lead that lap. It was actually a tie that time around between Brad Slagle and Kyle Howard. 2 laps to go. Kyle Howard now back to the race lead in the middle of the racetrack. He's got Raymond Hanneman on the inside, and Brad Slagle with a huge run, a huge push from the 29 of Michael Allen coming on the outside groove down to turn 3.
Credit where credit's due. They are driving fantastically right now to not make this a big wreck. And I think we just wrecked coming into turn number 3. We'll stay with the leaders, though. I think we may have just survived disaster. A bit of contact between Howard, and Slagle off of turn 4. They just got to make it to the triangle, and this race will be official.
Oh, that's still a tough task. They're all 3 wide. They're all racing hard for the race lead. Almost 4 wide. The 29 looks to the outside of Brad Slagle. It's not going to go anywhere, though. He's got absolutely no help. They're 4 wide entering turn 1, and they're wrecking. The 13 goes around. Howard out from the race lead, but he's the only one around. Move Miguel De La Cruz up to the lead in the middle groove. Brad Slagle fighting on the outside, and Raymond Hanneman on the inside as they wreck behind.
Big crash, multiple trucks hard into the inside wall. That's half the field collected. And a big crash coming out of turn number 2. 3 wide for the race lead. To the bottom goes Raymond Hanneman, trying to push from the front. De La Cruz will be in that number 2 spot on the top side. Contact again as we start to work our way out of turns 3 and 4. Checkered flag is in the air and waving. 3 wide, all-out drag race as we fire through the triangle. Coming to the stripe, beating and banging. It's neck and neck. Raymond Hanneman will secure the victory in the Robert Jordan 200.
Unbelievable racing there on the last lap. Multiple accidents involving a ton of drivers. Could not quite tell what happened to our race leader at the time. Kyle Howard getting wrecked through turns 1 and 2. And then the massive accident through the back straightaway. And another one coming to the stripe. as Raymond Hanneman was able to walk away a winner here tonight, just barely over the 79 of Chase McGuire. The difference was 26 thousandths of a second.
It was so close as they fell apart, and this was the margin of victory as they crossed the line. About half a car length will secure the 85 with the race win in the Robert Jordan 200 Memorial Race. Fitting that one of the league regulars, well, what will become one of the league regulars, is the one that takes the race win here tonight, as it will be the Street Limit Ford F-150 to burn it down on the front straightaway, somehow hanging on.
Big credit to everybody making that last little bit of a run green, making those last 3 laps entertaining, making them clean. At least the 2 laps before the last one. Obviously, the last one, no, it doesn't matter. At that point, if the wrecks happen, it's not a big deal whatsoever. Just everybody gunning for the lead, trying to get everything they can here in the hosted race. Raymond Hanneman able to come through with the victory in the Robert Jordan 200. Big congrats to him and the 85. Unbelievable performance there from Hanneman. He was up front just about all night.
Holy cow, what a wild night of racing it was for us here. And I mean, that was spectacular, right? And I have to say, I think that race was absolutely phenomenal. As we'll take a rundown of your official post-race results here tonight. Raymond Hanneman with that race win ahead of Chase McGuire. Rick Schneider brings it home in 3rd. Aaron Raymond in 4th. Cole Snyder was in 5th with Scott Howell in 6th. Ambrose Nebo will be in 7th. Jesse Cunningham is in 8th. Miguel De La Cruz in 9th. And Justin Parham rounds out the top 10.
Brad Slagle brings it home 11th. Mike Campbell Jr. in 12th. Chauncey Henry Jr. in 13th with Robert Amaral in 14th. Paul Witt in 15th. Logan Amos in 16th with Mike Bagwell, Dan Witt, Jeremy Osborne, and Matthew Dunphy rounding out our top 20.
21st place will be George Rincon with Dustin Haynes in 22nd. Noah Swafford was at 23rd. Mike Allen 24th. Ryan McRoberts 25th. 26th place was Brett Rucker. Kyle Howard 27th. Kenneth Redinger was in 28th. Zane Bailey 29th. Trace Gaskins will round out the top 30.
Jim Duda brings it home 31st with Bob Cunningham right behind in 32nd. John Bowalda Jr. brings it home 33rd with Larry Eddy in 34th. Thomas Lane Jr. involved in multiple accidents tonight in 35th with Andre Heidstra in 36th. Jamie Walker brings it home 37th with Scott Vaughn in 38th. Michael McElroy in 39th and Dale Rapp in 40th.
Closing out the field, of course, was Chris Gilbert, James Wertzma, and Simon Woodson not taking it to the green flag here tonight. And that will close out racing action from the Talladega Superspeedway. What a wild race, right? And I mean, I think that right there is a proper way to end a race, especially for a driver that meant so much to this league.
Absolutely. You couldn't ask for a better finish. Crazier finish there on the last lap. Multiple accidents. Crazy hits to the inside wall. And a crazy finish with Raymond Hanneman bringing home the checkered flag. Big congratulations to him. And obviously our thoughts and prayers are with Robert Jordan's family. And I think that the TNGG iRacing Esports League did a great job honoring his memory here tonight. So just big congratulations to everybody in the field for a good race.
I mean, I'm a bit speechless, right? I mean, we came out of Talladega the last time around, and there was an all-out slugfest, a slugfest that ended in the race finishing under the yellow flag. And I mean, honestly, the race was fantastic. And I mean, we struggled to finish a lot of the races last season under the green flag, and I'm honestly genuinely proud of how we managed to finish the race out for us here tonight. So I think overall, as I think Austin has just accidentally just abandoned me, but it's awesome, right, to be able to get this kind of race in action here tonight. So I think overall, this was a great way to honor the memory of a driver that, again, meant so much to the series. And I think overall, it was absolutely spectacular. We will be able to get in touch with one of the drivers that had a particular connection with Robert Jordan. And I know Paul Witt in particular was a bit close to Jordan and his family. And Paul Witt has managed to make some time for us after the race here. Paul, it's a somber day, right? But overall, a fantastic race, and I think the kind of race that Robert would have wanted to be run in his memory. But it kind of talk us through, because I know you had that connection with him that I know some of us, like us up here in the booth, have lacked, so to speak.
Yeah, Robert, he got me into another league, and we were teammates, and we actually pulled off a team championship over there, and he get me into TNGG here, and we were going to make another run for the championship, and we're still going to, because he's going to be on the side of my car the rest of the season. I've got one designed up with him on the side of it. It's going to be there the rest of the season. I want to say the condolences to his family, and our thoughts and prayers are with the family at this time.
And, of course, that goes for us up here as well in the Green Flag TV booth. Paul, I know it's been a trying day, and I don't want to take up too much of your time here, but thanks for coming on up and sharing. I know it means a lot, and it means a lot to us up here as well. So thank you for taking the time after what must have been an emotional race.
Well, with Robert, he was always right there with you. Anytime you needed him, he was there. Man, that man would set up practices, and we'd just run night after night after night, running practices and just running laps and having a good time. I'll never forget that, all the times that we always had on the track, goofing it up. He was always a little joker out there, but when it came to push to shove, you wouldn't want anybody else in your corner.
And that, no doubt, is how Robert will be remembered over here in TNGG. So, once again, thank you, Paul, for taking the time to share with us here this afternoon. And, we'll let you get back to it. Thank you once again for the time.
All right, thanks, Nolan. Appreciate you guys.
That was Paul Witt joining us up in the broadcast booth, sharing a little bit about Robert Jordan and what he meant to this league as a whole and to himself personally. Folks, I'm going to get personal for a moment. This, at the end of the day, it is a video game. But while the vehicles and the tracks we visit on a weekly basis may be digital, the friendships and communities that spawn from them are very real as any friendship fostered outside of the digital space. And when you lose somebody from that community, the impact is no less great. And you can tell the impact that Robert Jordan had here in TNGG in what we've seen here tonight. I believe we should always strive when we part ways to make plans to see each other again. Because in the words of Marty Reed, goodbyes always seem so final. Thank you for everyone for joining us tonight as we remember our fallen friend. We'll see you next time. Goodbye, Robert Jordan.